All right, so buckle up, everyone, because we are about to go deep on this one.
Sounds good.
We're diving into Anacalypsis today.
Ooh, very cool.
It's by Godfrey Higgins.
Okay.
He was this 19th century scholar who basically went on a quest to figure out all these connections between ancient cultures,
Right.
global mythologies and religions, the whole 9 yards.
I love that.
So we're going to see what he found.
What's so fascinating about Higgins is he wasn't afraid
Yeah.
to sort of
Challenge the thinking of the day?
challenge conventional thinking, totally
Yes.
push us to kind of reconsider those narratives that we think we know and look for those deeper patterns that connect, seemingly different cultures.
Okay, so one of the first things that pops out at me is this recurring archetype of a divine person.
Uh-huh.
And he points to figures like Krishna, Buddha, even Cyrus the Great.
Interesting.
And he's saying there are all these similarities in their stories. What do you think?
I mean, it's definitely a compelling observation. When you look at these figures, we see these themes of divine birth, superhuman abilities, a mission to guide humanity.
Right.
And it makes you think, is there a common source for these narratives? Or is this
a shared human experience?
Yeah. Or does it reflect some universal human need to believe in this higher power?
It's funny you say that because it's we're hardwired to look for these
larger-than-life figures.
Yeah, heroes, figures that embody our hopes and aspirations.
Absolutely.
But Higgins doesn't stop there.
Okay.
He goes on to suggest that all these ancient religions, Judaism, Christianity, Gentile traditions, contained these secret doctrines. These hidden layers of meaning not known to most people.
And this is where it gets really interesting.
Right.
He uses this analogy of a ladder that's kicked down once it's no longer useful. So he's implying that this esoteric knowledge was
essential.
Yeah, it was crucial, but then later discarded or suppressed.
Wow.
So we're only left with these
fragments.
Yeah, fragments of the original teachings.
That's crazy. Yeah. So we're missing pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
What kind of knowledge was in these secret doctrines?
Yeah.
And why were they kept hidden?
Exactly.
It's a total mystery.
It's a great mystery.
Yeah.
And Higgins doesn't give us all the answers.
Oh, really?
Which I think is what makes it so interesting.
Yeah.
He presents these clues and he wants us to kind of connect the dots.
Okay, so speaking of clues, he also highlights this recurring motif of a star.
Interesting.
That heralds the arrival of someone important.
Okay.
He mentions Abraham, Moses, even Julius Caesar.
Right.
It's like this spotlight.
A cosmic spotlight.
Yeah, shining on these big moments in history.
That's so cool.
And what's so intriguing is that Higgins, he wants to understand what the star means. At Abraham's birth, he says the idea is annexed to the star.
Yeah.
So
it makes you think about what is that deeper symbolism?
Yeah.
Maybe even some astrological significance.
I've always loved that idea.
I know, it's so fascinating.
That the stars can tell us about our destiny.
Yeah.
And can influence events on Earth.
For sure.
But he doesn't just look at the stars.
Okay.
He also explores this concept of the millennium.
Oh, wow.
This era. This transformative era that so many ancient cultures believed in.
And this shows how humans are just so fascinated by predicting the future.
Yeah, it really transcends time and cultures.
Right.
Higgins points out that even early Christians debated the timing and the nature of this millennium.
Yeah.
With some thinking it was going to happen right away.
Yeah, based on how they read the gospel.
Right. So it's we're on this eternal quest.
Yeah.
To figure out where we're going.
For sure.
Individually.
Yeah.
And as a species.
Yeah, what's next?
And Higgins is saying these ancient beliefs might offer some clues about these grand cycles of history.
Right.
And maybe even the future.
Yeah, it's he's saying, look, pay attention to these patterns, to these echoes from the past.
Yeah.
They might have the keys to unlocking
the mysteries.
The mysteries of right now.
Yeah.
And of the future.
All right, so we've got all these divine figures, secret doctrines, stars guiding us, prophecies about this coming millennium.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty intense.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep going.
Let's do it.
Because we're about to dive even deeper.
Sounds good.
Into Higgins's world.
I'm ready for it.
I'm especially interested in how he explores those sibyls.
Yeah.
These female oracles.
Those are so fascinating.
Yeah.
They played such a big role.
Yeah, they did.
In ancient cultures.
Yeah. So let's unravel that.
Let's do it.
Next.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone.
All right. So we left off talking about the Sibyls.
Yes, these like mysterious female oracles.
Yeah.
Who were really revered.
Yeah.
For their prophetic abilities.
It's amazing that even like Virgil.
Right.
Who was a classical Roman poet, acknowledged their insight.
It's so interesting.
It really speaks to, how ingrained the belief in prophecy and divine inspiration was in those times.
Totally.
And it wasn't just like one
culture
or region.
Yeah.
It was
everywhere.
It was the Greeks, the Romans, early Christians.
It's wild to think that people would travel from all over just to hear
what they had to say.
Their prophecies.
Yeah.
And seek their guidance.
And for guidance.
Yeah, but here's where things get kind of crazy.
Okay.
Higgins points out that these existing copies of Sibylline prophecies contain acrostics that actually spell out Jesus Christ.
What? That's wild.
So what do we make of that?
It raises a lot of questions about authenticity.
Yeah.
And potentially manipulation.
Yeah. Were these prophecies like real?
Yeah.
Or were they
were they changed later to fit a narrative?
Yeah, like someone was trying to shoehorn Christianity into these older prophecies.
It makes you think about how much of history has been rewritten or reinterpreted to serve different agendas.
It's a good reminder
that
we always need to be critical of our sources.
Of the sources and really consider
the context of when they were created.
Okay, let's change gears a little bit. Okay. And talk about another one of these recurring patterns that Higgins noticed.
Okay.
The significance of the number 12.
Oh, yeah. He talks about how this number pops up.
Everywhere.
All the time.
All over history, in all these cultures.
The 12 tribes of Israel?
The 12 tribes of Ionians.
The 12 Caesars.
The 12 Imams.
It's like he's saying this number is super important.
It's like a universal thing.
It's pretty interesting.
It is compelling.
Yeah, like, is it just coincidence?
Yeah.
Or is there something more to it?
Right, maybe it's rooted in our understanding of like celestial cycles. Or reflects like a need.
A human need.
Yeah, a human need for order and infrastructure.
Maybe it's like the constellations.
Oh, that's a good one.
The 12 constellations of the zodiac. Like we're trying to map our human experience onto the cosmos.
Yeah, trying to find meaning in these patterns and cycles.
And it kind of goes back to his bigger point.
Totally.
About how everything's connected.
Right, like all of these different human belief systems.
Yeah, and he sees all these patterns, whether it's the number 12 or the divine person as evidence.
And a shared mythos.
Yeah, like a universal language of symbols.
That speaks to something deep inside us.
Yeah, like we're all part of this big cosmic story.
Yeah.
And all these symbols are what connect us.
Yeah, across time and culture.
I love that idea.
It is very cool.
But he doesn't just stop with these big patterns.
Right.
He goes into detail about specifics.
Okay.
Like the name Caesar.
Oh, interesting.
He says it's not just a name.
Right.
But a title. With a sense of destiny.
Yeah.
Even like a mythos or a prophecy.
Wow.
That's influencing events.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, it's fascinating how names can carry so much weight.
Yeah.
Like symbolically.
Symbolically, but also historically.
Yeah, like how much of history is shaped by what we believe.
By the narratives we create.
Yeah, and by our expectations.
Exactly.
It's like the power of suggestion.
Yeah.
Like if people believe a name means something.
Right.
Then it's more likely to
become that.
Yeah.
A self-fulfilling prophecy.
And this takes us to one of Higgins's most interesting ideas.
What's that?
The connections he finds between languages.
This is where I think he really shines.
Yeah.
Like his passion for etymology.
Comes through.
Totally.
And he goes deep.
He does.
On the origins of words and names.
Yeah.
And he finds these crazy similarities between languages that seem totally unconnected.
Right.
For example, he connects Krishna and Christ.
Wow.
And even Chersonesus, that word the Greeks used to describe a sacred island. He connects that to
both of them.
Both Christ and Krishna.
Wow.
I mean, how crazy is that?
It's amazing.
It's like he's tracing
the evolution of ideas.
Yeah.
Through language.
Yeah.
And suggesting that there's this common source.
This common thread.
Yeah.
That goes way back.
Way back.
And that's what I think makes his work so
thought-provoking.
He's not just
like repeating facts and accepted narratives. He's not regurgitating.
Yeah, he's challenging us to question everything.
To dig deeper.
Yeah, and look for those hidden truths that might go against conventional wisdom.
We think we know.
And he's not afraid
to ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, I kind of love that about him.
Me too.
He doesn't stop with language, though.
Okay.
He also brings up this idea of cyclical time.
That we touched on earlier.
Yeah, this idea that history repeats itself.
Right, like it's not just a line.
In these patterns.
It's a circle.
Yeah.
And it goes round and round.
So he's not just saying there are similar stories, similar figures.
Yeah.
He's arguing there's a shared understanding.
Of time itself.
Yeah.
Of how it unfolds.
Yeah, how we view the past,
the
present, and the future.
All connected. It all ties into this idea.
His big thesis.
That there's a hidden unity.
Underlying.
Yeah, underneath all the diversity.
Yeah, the diversity of human cultures and beliefs. It's like he's saying, look.
Yeah.
Look beyond the surface.
Beyond the surface.
Look for those connections.
Yeah.
And you'll see that we're all
part of something bigger.
I love that.
That is a good message.
It's such a hopeful message, especially today.
Yeah, in a world that feels so...
divided. It's like a reminder.
Yeah.
That even though we're all different.
Yeah.
And our cultures and beliefs.
Have
changed over time.
They have.
They're these fundamental... human experiences and aspirations.
Yeah, that connect us all.
That's
beautifully said.
And that connection is what makes exploring these ancient myths.
Right?
And symbols.
So interesting.
That's fascinating.
Like we're tapping into our collective unconscious.
Like a shared wellspring of wisdom.
Totally.
It's a journey of self-discovery. But also a journey through history.
Yes, and by understanding where we came from and the stories we've told ourselves, we can really understand who we are today.
And where we're headed.
Okay,
so we're back for the last part of our deep dive.
I know, it's gone so fast.
I know, right?
Time flies when you're having fun.
It really does. Especially when you're talking about Godfrey Higgins.
You
ready to get into some of his more controversial ideas?
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Remember, he was writing in the 1800s.
Right back in the day.
So some of his theories might seem a little out there today.
It's a little unorthodox.
Yeah, but that's what makes it fun to read these older works.
Right.
You get a glimpse into how people used to think about the world.
Yeah, and it challenges us.
To think differently.
Yeah, to expand our own perspectives.
And Higgins definitely wasn't afraid.
To shake things up.
Yeah, to challenge what everyone thought they knew.
Totally.
Like, one of the things that was really interesting to me was how he connected Christianity to older belief systems.
Right, especially from India.
Yeah, he talks about the similarities
between Krishna and Christ.
Yeah, suggesting their stories might be connected.
Yeah, maybe share a common source.
Yeah.
Or at least use a similar...
framework.
Yeah, symbolic framework.
And it's cool how he uses all these different things to support his ideas.
He brings in the language.
Yeah.
The mythology.
A history.
All of it.
He even uses that word Chersonesus.
Oh, yeah.
That we were talking about before.
The sacred island, the peninsula.
He connects it to both Christ and Krishna.
I love that.
It's like he's saying there's this shared myth.
That goes beyond culture.
Yeah,
that transcends all these boundaries.
I think it's important to point out that he's not saying that Christianity is a copy of these other religions.
Okay.
But rather that there's this...
deeper connection.
Yeah, a deeper connection, this common thread
of
symbolism and belief.
That runs through...
human history. Yeah, it's like he's saying the human spirituality.
Human spirituality is this, like, web.
Yeah.
And we can trace the threads...
back through time.
To see how these ideas have evolved.
That's a really cool way to think about it.
Yeah.
It's not about...
putting one belief system above another. It's about recognizing
our shared impulses.
Yeah, that drive us to search for meaning.
We want to connect with something bigger.
Exactly.
But Higgins goes even further.
He does.
He says that early Christianity contained this esoteric knowledge.
This hidden knowledge that only some people had access to.
This is where he really starts to challenge
what everyone thinks.
Yeah, like conventional thinking.
Yeah.
He compares early Christianity
to these ancient mystery cults.
Like in Greece and Egypt.
Right, suggesting that maybe early Christians had their own secret doctrines.
And he even connects this to...
groups like the Masons?
Yeah, and the Knights Templar.
Right, like they were the guardians.
Of this hidden knowledge.
Yeah, passing it down.
Through secret rituals and symbols.
It is a very enticing theory.
I mean, we all love
I know,
a good secret society.
Secret societies, hidden knowledge.
Yeah.
But of course we need to be careful because there's a lot of speculation.
A lot of speculation.
In these kinds of theories.
But even if we don't agree with everything he says, I think his approach is really important.
I agree.
He's basically saying, don't just accept what you're told.
Question everything.
Yeah. Look beyond the surface.
Look for different interpretations.
Yeah, and don't be afraid.
To challenge what's and considered normal.
And that's what makes Anacalypsis so interesting to read, even today.
It's a good reminder that history is not
set in stone.
Yeah, it's not fixed.
It can be interpreted
in so many different ways.
And by looking at those different perspectives,
we can get a much richer
and more complex
understanding of the past.
Like he's giving us permission to think outside the box.
Be curious.
Explore new ideas.
And not be afraid to challenge what everyone thinks.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Higgins's world,
it's been a wild ride.
It really has.
So much to think about.
I know, right? His work is full of
intriguing connections.
Bold claims.
Yeah, and just ideas that really
make you think.
Make you rethink.
About history, religion, and the search for meaning.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about doing these deep dives.
Me too.
It's not about finding all the answers.
Right. It's about the journey.
About expanding our horizons.
Yeah, and being curious.
And wanting to keep learning.
Keep exploring.
So to all our listeners out there, this is just the beginning.
Keep diving deep.
Keep questioning.
Keep searching for those connections.
And until next time.
Happy exploring.
Happy exploring, everyone.